All right, everybody, welcome to the Rise 41 Everyday Biohacking Series. Today, we are going to talk about modules 2 and 3 of our Becoming Superhuman guide, specifically rest, recovery, and sleep, as well as movement, and how those are part of the Becoming Superhuman plan. And of course, as we usually do, we break down the science of biohacking into simple, actionable tips that anyone can use in their daily life. Whether you're looking to boost your energy, optimize your sleep, sharpen your focus, improve well being, we got you covered. No extreme protocols, no craziness, just practical science backed strategies that fit into your everyday routine, hopefully. So join us as we explore the latest and let's hack your everyday life for peak performance. All right, with that intro out of the way, let's dive right in and start with module 2, which is our rest, recovery, and sleep module. So, where to begin? Let's start with the basics. The first action item for rest, recovery, and sleep. You want to aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every single night. It's important to get proper rest, recovery, and sleep for fitness goals because this allows your body to repair, adapt to, and also become stronger from exercise, especially during strength training or high intensity activities. Your muscles will sustain micro tears, and these kinds of muscle injuries do take some time to recuperate. This is normal, part of the process. Rest and recovery give your body the time needed to repair the torn muscle. Thus, muscle growth and improvement in strength will take some time. You also need a matching recovery phase. Otherwise, you can overtrain and get injured or stall any progress. Another constituent of fitness is sleep because it's very critical in hormone regulation and muscle repair. The body secretes growth hormone during deep sleep, accounting for the recovery and regeneration of muscles. Proper sleep gives good balance of hormones like cortisol, the stress hormone, and leptin, which appoints your appetite. Both of those help the body to burn fat, gain muscles, or stop them in excess. So having a good balance is critical in order for you to hit your fitness and health goals. Poor sleep, on the other hand, will heighten your fatigue, will lower your motivation, it'll diminish your performance during your workouts, therefore making it more difficult to achieve your goals in fitness and health. Finally, rest and sleep serve to make sure that your mind is fresh. A great factor in terms of routines and consistency, motivational factors of an individual in their exercise. The physical pressure experienced by the body from physical exertion is paralleled in the mind, and proper recovery helps alleviate this stress and improves your focus and energy levels. So when you're rested, you show up more consistently to your workouts, make healthier choices, better choices, smarter choices while going harder during training and going about your life. You can achieve much more when you're fully well rested and in balance. All right, so let's talk about quick hacks. 6 good practices to help you improve your sleep quality, things that you can take action very quickly. Number 1, maintain a consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This helps regulate your body's internal clock, get aligned with that circadian rhythm, and improves your overall sleep quality. I cannot stress enough. You cannot forego sleeping Monday to Friday, burning the candle at both ends, getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and then think that if you get 9 hours of sleep on Saturday and Sunday, somehow that will balance out. It doesn't work that way. It's not a bank account that accrues interest. This is a daily process for you to get the proper restorative sleep that you need. So every time you lose sleep, you're getting behind the 8 ball, okay? And you cannot just make it better by adding extra sleep. What you're going to end up doing is having your circadian rhythm be completely off kilter. Your body will not know whether it's time to wake up or to rest. Your hormones will be affected. It'll be a bad time. So again, maintain a consistent sleep schedule, whatever you decide, and keep through it all 7 days of the week, if at all possible. Next, second, create a relaxing bedtime routine. Engage in calming activities before bed, such as reading, meditation, or taking a warm bath. Avoid screens if possible, phones and computers, okay? I know it's hard in today's society, especially when you're trying to wind down with a movie, say, or scrolling through some social media, something like that. But those things can stimulate your brain. We'll talk about this more in a little bit. But in the end, the blue light also can interfere with your melatonin production and affect your sleep. So you don't want to be overstimulated and affected by blue light right when you're trying to finally relax and tell your brain and mind and body to rest, to get ready for rest. Number 3, optimize your sleep environment. Make your bedroom cool, quiet, and dark. There are many studies that show a cool sleeping place, and by cool, I mean 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 67, somewhere around there, is optimal for sleep. Sleeping too warm will absolutely rob you of rest, as your body will not be fully relaxed. Hey, I didn't make the rules, just sharing them with you, right? So, comfortable bedding. A supportive mattress can also help create the ideal setting for restful sleep. If you can get shades that are sunlight blocking, that are complete blackout shades, those are perfect. You want it as dark as possible in there. If you can, don't put that iPhone with that screen facing you next to you as you sleep, because even that low level of light can, in some very sensitive individuals, be disruptive. So again, try to optimize your sleep environment. Look at it, analyze it actively, intelligently, see where the opportunities are to make it more comfortable, more inviting, and more relaxing. Number 4, limit your caffeine and heavy meals before bed. Avoid caffeine, nicotine, and large meals in the evening. These can disrupt sleep by increasing alertness or causing discomfort. In the case of caffeine and nicotine, these are stimulants, okay? And they will have an effect on your body, and they will stimulate you. They are stimulants, which will prevent you from being able to quickly and calmly and naturally fall asleep. So if you can, be careful with caffeine and nicotine late in the afternoon, early evening. Definitely early evening. You want to avoid that if at all possible, if you want to get some good rest. So at least 4-6 hours ahead, you want to avoid that. Same with a heavy meal. The problem there is that if you're uncomfortable, if you're too full, and your stomach hurts, and you can't just lay down and fall asleep, you're going to be stressed. Your body's going to be processing all that food. Again, it's not a good time. You won't be able to relax and get the sleep that you truly need. All right, next hack, number 5. This is kind of like beating on a on a drum, but it's important, and it goes back to module 1. Exercise regularly. Engage in physical activity during the day to help you fall asleep faster and enjoy deeper sleep. Just try to avoid vigorous exercise close to bedtime. Okay, so why no vigorous exercise close to bedtime? You'd think, well, I'm going to be really tired. That'll work. Well, exercise also is a stimulus, and your body after exercise is going to be stimulated, and it's going to take it a little while to wind down, to get that heart rate back down to a basal rate, to a rest rate, for your endorphins that you've created to again wind down. There are a lot of processes that need to kind of slow down back to normal and get you into that relaxed state before you can attempt successfully to sleep. So if you exercise really close to when you're trying to sleep, it's going to be very hard for you to relax, even though you might be tired, but you're going to be tired and stimulated. So until you again, your body winds down after that exercise, especially if it's very strenuous exercise, like say a HIIT routine or something like that, you want to avoid it. You want to avoid it close to your bedtime, if at all possible. Last, in more detail, avoid those screens and blue light we mentioned before, very specifically. So exposure to screens and blue light from devices can suppress melatonin, making it harder to fall asleep. And avoid using those electronics at least an hour before bed is a good guideline, probably 2. Or use blue light filters if necessary. Again, lots of glasses like these come with blue light filtering lenses, for example, that will help minimize that stimulus to your eyes, especially late at night. Another thing that people can do, I'm just going to add this, is as you prepare to go to bed, even before you go to bed, while you're relaxing, say in your living room after dinner, talking with your spouse, dim the lights, start kind of preparing yourself for rest. A lot of people like using, is it salt lights, or those warmer lights, warmer tones, rather than fluorescents, for example. Those warmer lights will help kind of, especially if they're slightly dim, uh, kind of start signaling the brain, hey, it's time to start preparing to relax. Okay. And then you can ease into your sleeping routine better and be more optimized. All right. So Again, action item, just to as a general reminder, give yourself some recovery time between exercise sessions. Assuming you do appropriate full body workouts, you want to allow at least a day in between sessions to rest, recover, and regrow your muscle. This is important because if you work out back to back to back to back, that stress is going to be enough to disrupt your sleep. And it's not going to allow you to get the rest and recovery and get what you want. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing with exercise. You want the minimum possible stimulus to gain the most response, almost like medicine. You know, the dose is the poison or the cure. You want just enough to get the benefit without stressing yourself or adding so much stress that then it becomes detrimental to your health. Overtraining is exactly what that is. And again, how much rest you're going to need is going to vary depending on your fitness level and exercise regimen, but you've got to give yourself time. And why is this recovery time important? Again, crucial for muscle repair, injury prevention, avoiding overtraining. So if you want to have long-term, as you put together nutrition, fitness and exercise, and rest, those are the three big rocks that will define your health 90% of the time, with those three factors working together in tandem. All right, so that is what I've got as far as like high-level actionable tips for sleep, rest, and recovery, things you should know, should keep in mind. Now we move on to module 3, which is movement. This one is also very critical. Movement is vital for your health and well-being. So let's break it down. First part of movement, let's talk about walking. Walking is vital. So action item number 1, you want to aim for at least 10,000 steps a day or 2.5 miles roughly as guidelines of walking. And the next action item for you to keep in mind is when possible, take advantage of sunlight when possible when you walk. Walking in nature or natural light is even better. So let's talk about this a little bit. Let's give a little bit more of a picture so that you can make your decisions and adapt and adopt walking into your routine as best it suits you. So walking 10,000 steps or a few miles each day has huge health benefits. Almost everyone can do it without additional training or equipment. Most people can walk. It's excellent for your cardiovascular health since it strengthens the heart and lowers blood pressure. It helps in maintaining weight through the burning of calories. It is also an exercise that has low impact, that yet builds muscles, supports joint health, and increases bone density, and hence reducing the risk of osteoporosis as we age, which is, it's a real risk, especially my understanding for women. It seems to affect women more so than men, but we're all affected by sarcopenia and osteoporosis as we age. It also helps in maintaining a good metabolism, which in turn helps to manage your blood sugar levels and prevents the risk of disease related to, say, type 2 diabetes and other metabolic syndromes. Regular walking over time improves your stamina, your endurance, and your overall level of fitness. So along with physical benefits, walking is efficient for mental health. It triggers the release of endorphins, helping to reduce mechanisms associated with stress, anxiety, and symptoms of depression. Outdoor walks have the added advantage of the exposure to nature, which further elevates mood and clarity of thought, as well as providing you with valuable, very valuable vitamin D, which most of us in modern society, because we are inside all the time, we're very much deficient in vitamin D in most cases. So this is a 2-in-1. If you can walk around and get that sunlight and raise your vitamin D levels, it's only going to help you be even healthier. So regular walking tends to also improve sleep and has been associated with longevity. So it's a win-win-win. It's a good thing. All right, next action item to keep in mind. If you can, take a 10 or 15-minute walk after every meal if possible. This optimizes the prior advice of your 10,000 steps, 2.5 miles daily. Walking for 10 or 15 minutes after every meal is a simple yet highly effective way to improve digestion and overall health. Light physical activity stimulates your digestive system, helps food move through the stomach more efficiently, and reduces the likelihood of bloating or indigestion. Moreover, walking post-meal helps regulate blood sugar levels by improving insulin sensitivity, which is always good, which can be particularly beneficial in managing and preventing conditions like we mentioned before, diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Additionally, a short walk can aid in burning calories, supporting your weight management, and promoting cardiovascular health. It's a small habit that offers huge health benefits. Why did I say 10 or 15-minute walks versus taking, say, one big long walk, which you could do, by the way, and which I often do because of work and time constraints? There is some scientific evidence that it's a slightly more efficient, more effective for health outcomes to split your walk into 3, 4 bouts of walking after a meal every day. I'm not certain of the mechanism at play. My assumption is that because you're actively digesting in all 3 of those walks, that there's a slight benefit there. But if possible, try to split it up throughout the day if time allows it, if you're able to do it. I mean, if you can't, you can just take one big long walk. A lot of people, I'm one of those people. Sometimes I'll take a lunch break in my office and I'll walk for 45 minutes. It takes me about 40, 50 minutes, depending on pace, to walk my 2.5 miles at a calm, steady pace. Sometimes I don't have the time to do that. So I would prefer to go 10 or 15 minutes every time, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But again, schedules preclude me from doing that. But if I could, I would. So that's why I'm mentioning it to you. So if you have that opportunity, you can optimize it. But that's a very small detail. The important thing is the overall amount of walking you do every day. Try and get those 10K steps. All right. Next, big, important thing when it comes to movement, morning fasted cardio, which I actually have grown to love. I used to hate, but now that I understand its function and how to do it properly, I actually love it. I start my day every morning. I wake up at around 4:30, 4:45 in the morning. By 5-ish, I've had a cup of coffee or two, and I'm on my bike. In my case, that's how I do my morning fasted cardio. But let's dive into it. So, what are we trying to achieve with morning fasted cardio? First action item to keep in mind: you want to do this 5 times a week. I tend to do it literally every day because it's become part of my routine. But to reap the benefits, you want to do it 5 times a week. Next, your cardio sessions, your morning fasted cardio sessions should put you in zone 2 cardio for about 20 to 30 minutes per session is optimal. That's what you need. I mean, you can go more if you want. That's perfectly fine. But to get the benefits that we're going to discuss here, you want to do it 5 times a week, zone 2, 20 to 30 minutes per session. So let's talk a little bit about it. So daily fasted cardio can be a powerful tool when done correctly, especially for fat loss, metabolic flexibility, and mental clarity. Additionally, and arguably more importantly, if you're a bit older, it is a great tool to keep your lipids and cholesterol in range and prevent calcium plaque issues with the heart and cardiovascular system as a whole. Here's a breakdown of some benefits and optimization changes or strategies to get the most out of your morning fasted cardio. So let's talk about some best practices. Number 1, time it right. Aim for 20 to 45 minutes first thing in the morning, like we said, before eating anything. Fast for at least 8 to 12 hours beforehand. So think about it. You just woke up. You hopefully slept 7 to 8 hours. You're already in a fasted state. You can have coffee. You can have water before doing this. If you want to wake up, coffee with nothing, black coffee or with like a 0-calorie sweetener is fine, but nothing with calories because, again, you want to stay fasted when you do this. Okay. But, water or, like I said, black coffee. I think tea also has no calories as long as you don't add any from sweeteners and so on. So, number 2, choose the right intensity. You can do low intensity steady state is the preferred version. So think of an incline treadmill walk, a bike, or a very light jog. This is ideal because you want to keep your cortisol in check. That's your stress hormone, and maximize fat oxidation. If you go too hard, you're going to raise your cortisol. So, second point, HIIT training, high interval intensity training, can be too stressful in a fasted state if you do it daily, which is the goal of daily fasted cardio. So limit your HIIT to 1 or 2 times a week if fasted, if you must do HIIT. You know, you may be training, you may be an athlete, you may need to do your HIIT. It may be something you truly enjoy. But if the objective is to get the benefits of your fasted cardio for longevity, health, and your lipids, you want to limit it to 1 or 2 weeks. Again, you don't want to add stress either by doing too many sessions of HIIT training. All right. Third important point, hydration. Hydrate. Drink electrolyte rich water or black coffee beforehand to improve performance and support hydration. And no, black coffee is not a diuretic. I don't know why so many people think it's a diuretic. Okay, it's not. It is not a diuretic. What you put in is what you're gonna get out. Okay, so let's make that clear. But you want to have electrolyte rich water. And how do you do electrolyte rich water? Well, hey, you need to add a little bit of salt. You can consider something like a commercial product like LMNT is a company that creates electrolytes that you can just put in your water. You can just use a pinch of Himalayan salt or a pinch of baking soda for mineral support if you want to throw it in your cup of water. So you can certainly you can Google more if you want more details, but you want to add some electrolytes if you can, just because you're about to do some exercise and you are fasted, so it's not going to hurt. And just electrolytes throughout the day as you drink your water are critical. Very, very critical. A lot of people walk around very dehydrated. They don't even realize it. So much so that if you're dehydrated and you go take, say, lab values, you go get your blood sugar tested or your hematocrit or your blood panel or something like that. If you're dehydrated, it will skew your results. So you want to make sure that you're hydrated, just as a general practice, okay? All right. Number 4, supplements intelligently. Be smart when you supplement. And this is an optional list of supplements that you might want to consider depending on what your goals are for your fasted cardio. All right. So for fat burning or as an energy stack are the following. So caffeine, we've already mentioned, 100 to 200 milligrams. You know, that's a cup or two, depending on how your coffee's brewed and all that. It always drives me crazy that depending on how you brew it, this can vary wildly. So, you know, check. Next is L-carnitine, 2,000 milligrams. Seems to be some benefits there to add in your fat burning as you're doing with your fasted cardio. Next, yohimbine HCl. Now, this one is a stimulant, so you have to be careful with it, okay? So, and this one, the only if body fat is under 15% is where I would recommend this if you really, really need it. And again, if you're not sensitive to stimulants. And the recommendation here is 0.2 milligrams per kilogram of body weight if you're interested. But again, I'm not a doctor. This is something that I know works. It's not something I use. This is something that's just coaches have mentioned it to me over and over. So, and for the sake of completion, I do mention it here in the guide. And next is green tea or green tea extract, which is always good. You know, that's similar to caffeine, has a slight stimulating effect. It'll help you with your fat burning, you know, as you do your fasted cardio. Point number 5, post-cardio nutrition. What to eat afterwards. You are fasted, so break your fast with protein and healthy fats or carbs. Now, depending on your goals. If you're, say, in a fat loss phase, and that's what you're interested in, you might want to delay eating 30 to 60 minutes post-cardio so you can extend that fat burning window and enjoy that and let your body do its thing as it winds down. Now, if you're in a muscle retention or performance mode, you're building muscles, say, you want to eat sooner with protein to minimize that muscle catabolism, okay? So again, depending on your goals. If it's fat loss, you can wait, 30 to 60 minutes to extend that fat burning window. But if you want to retain muscle or build muscle, you want to eat sooner and make sure you have protein, right, to stop any potential muscle catabolism. Now, point number 6, some warnings or considerations, things to keep in mind. So, first, don't combine daily fasted cardio with very low calories or extreme fasting because it can spike your cortisol, your stress hormone, and lead to burnout, and then you can't sleep, and then you can't recover. It's a bad cycle to get into. So be really careful about your daily fasted cardio with very low calories or extreme fasting. Next, listen to your body. If your sleep, mood, or recovery starts suffering, reduce the frequency or switch to fed sessions. Maybe you don't need to do it fully fasted. You won't get a lot of some of the benefits of fasted cardio, But again, if your sleep, mood, and recovery are suffering, that comes first. Okay, you have to address those things and find that sweet spot. Maybe you're a person that needs fasted cardio maybe 3 times a week instead. Who knows? Third, for women, too much fasted training can negatively affect your hormonal balance. So 3 or 4 times a week might be better, all things considered. You have to, again, listen to your body, pay attention. If you start feeling symptoms of a hormonal imbalance, things are off, your emotions are off, you can feel it, like your body's telling you like this is too much, reduce your fasted cardio by all means. Now, let's talk specifically about one of the best benefits of daily fasted cardio, which is helping with heart health and lipid control. So let's talk about the benefits of fasted cardio for specifically in that. So first, you get improved cardiovascular efficiencies because performing cardio in a fasted state can enhance the stroke volume, which is the amount of blood pumped per beat by your heart, and your VO2 max over time. Okay, so that makes your cardiovascular system more efficient. It supports a more efficient heart and better oxygen utilization. So if you're an endurance athlete, you should theoretically see a slow gain in your endurance for endurance sports, say long distance running and so on, because your heart is more efficient. Next, another benefit, very favorable impact on your blood lipids. So what does that mean? Studies show that this fasted aerobic exercise might lower LDL, which is the bad cholesterol. You want that lowered. Raise HDL, which is the good cholesterol. You want that to go up. And you want to reduce those triglyceride levels. These effects are more pronounced when you pair it, obviously, with a clean diet and regular activity. I mean, if you're going to eat like a bunch of fried food and burgers and like 30,000 eggs, there's only so much the fasted cardio can do. So to really, really reap the benefits of this, you want a clean diet and regular activity. Like eggs are excellent. They are amazing. But like anything else, in excess, you might, if cholesterol is something that you're concerned about, you need to like kind of balance that out a little bit. Another benefit, reduced resting heart rate and blood pressure. Consistently low intensity cardio, especially when fasted, can reduce resting heart rate and systolic blood pressure. These are good things as we age, especially, which naturally over age, as our arteries harden, your blood pressure tends to go up with age. This is one way to combat that. And this lowers the overall strain on your cardiovascular system and decreases long-term disease risk. All right, number 4. This one is really cool. Reduced inflammation and oxidative stress. Fasting and cardio independently reduce inflammatory cytokines. I'm not sure how that's pronounced in English. And improved endothelial function, which keeps blood vessels healthy. The combination may help prevent arterial plaque buildup and improve vascular flexibility. And why is that important? Because plaque in your arteries eventually lands and settles in your arteries, causing your arteries and heart to harden, eventually possibly clogging. This can cause heart attacks. It cause strokes, all kinds of bad things. You definitely don't want calcium buildup and plaque buildup. So it's really, really helpful that this combination can prevent that arterial plaque buildup. Okay? So it's excellent for you. All right. Next section, things to consider, because it's going to come up. Somebody's going to tell you, hey, I want to like run my way into eating more calories, yada, yada, yada. Doesn't work like that. Sorry, but there's no avoiding the realities. So let me break it down for you so that you are forewarned and forearmed, because there is a place for HIIT training if you want it, if that's something you enjoy. But let's talk about the rules, how you're going to optimize to make it better. Okay. So first thing regarding cardio and HIIT, you want to add cardio if you enjoy it for health, entertainment, and cardiovascular improvement reasons, or if it's a sport or activity you practice and enjoy. Say you're a runner and you enjoy running, you need to do this. You need to do cardio, maybe some HIIT. So you got to consider that as part of your decision matrix. So the next thing, for most people, prioritizing resistance training over additional cardio, and by additional cardio, I mean beyond the daily walking we talked about and your daily fasted cardio sessions, any cardio beyond that. So for overall health and fitness, resistance training, bang for the buck, will give you better health outcome results. But be aware you may need to reduce your resistance training slightly if you do a lot of cardio because you don't want to overtrain and overstress your body. You can, again, you can burn the candle at both ends. There's a limit to what you can do and what your body can recover from. So you have to balance that out, especially if you enjoy your cardio or if you do it, like, say, in a social setting. There are benefits to that too. You go in a group run or a marathon or a 5K with friends, that the value there is important too. That social aspect is very important for your mental health. So you do have to balance that out. So again, if the goal is overall health and fitness, weight training should always be your focus, not cardio as the primary mover for health and fitness, because because resistance training has long-term benefits related to overall health and fitness. It builds and maintains bigger muscles, which supports your metabolism, enhances your bone density, prevents injuries, helps you recover from disease and health issues. It's almost like muscle is almost like an insurance policy. While cardio only burns calories during the activity, strength training enhances calorie burning even at rest because it builds muscle mass. That's another thing to consider. It also enhances joint stability, body composition through fat loss with the maintenance of muscle mass, and mental well-being by reducing stress. Resistance training represents a more wholesome approach to fitness, aimed at building a heartier and more functional body. Now, does this mean cardio is bad? Of course not. If you enjoy cardio and want to do it for the great health, like we mentioned before, cardiovascular VO2 benefits, by all means, add it to your routine, but be mindful of balancing your training so you do not overtrain, like we talked about before. Overtraining will add stress to you and not allow you to recover properly and reap the benefits that you want. It is also, this is very important for newer people, this is kind of like a not quite intuitive concept, but it's important that you understand. It's a bad practice to add cardio solely for the purpose of burning calories so that you can eat more. That doesn't work. And let me tell you why. 3 reasons. First, it's unsustainable. It gets you caught up in this cycle of constantly increasing your cardio just to hold on to that weight loss, which is unsustainable in the long term. At some point, you're going to get tired. You can't do this. You can't continue to add cardio to like eat more. By the way, let's say a fairly brisk run, jog, walk, maybe in an hour you'll burn 100, 150 calories, maybe. Do you know how quickly you can eat 100 calories? That's like one cookie. It's not going to work. And besides, calorie estimators, like those people who get into this strange habit of like, oh, I'm going to run with my app that says 300 calories so I can eat 300 more calories. Those things never estimate calories in any way, shape, or form with any kind of accuracy. So be aware that that is an unsustainable practice. It's not going to work. Next, another reason it's a bad practice, extreme caloric deficits. Most of the time, this kind of method leads to a big calorie deficit, right? You go for burn 1,000 calories doing some crazy thing. This will eventually, your body will adapt because your body is an extremely, exquisitely well-designed machine. And part of what it does is adapt to differing conditions, such as doing a ton of cardio. So what is it going to do? Your body's going to adapt to that cardio stimulus, and it'll start dropping your basal metabolic rate, which is how many calories you need to keep your weight stable. So as it drops, that means you need less and less calories to stay at a stable weight. What does that mean? As it's dropping, if you eat the same, all of a sudden you're going to see that you start gaining weight, even though you're doing all this cardio and you're going crazy. Like, what happened? I'm doing all this cardio. Well, your body has adapted. So the last thing you want is for your calories to drop so much that you end up gaining weight with, say, 1,000 or 1,200 calories a day, because then now you're stuck. You've painted yourself into a corner, and now we got to talk about reverse dieting you out of this, which is the practice of dropping the cardio, adding calories, and starting to weight train, which for a while might lead to weight gain as you build muscle again and start building up your metabolism. And a lot of people don't want to do that because it's difficult. It's difficult to build muscle. It's very easy to lose fat if you're careful. It's not so easy to build muscle. Next and last to consider, the average person struggle. Very few people can maintain that very high intensity exercise regimen in combination with a restriction of eating. That's too much. So resulting factors can include burnout, a decrease in motivation, and you can even regain all the weight. This happens a lot, that rebound when you finally I can't take it anymore. I'm starving. I'm not losing any more weight. And now I'm stuck because now 1,000 calories will make me gain fat. And now I'm stuck. So to recap, a balance can be achieved with moderate exercise and sensible eating habits for long-term weight loss. And with that, we have covered modules 2 and 3 of our Becoming Superhuman guide. I hope you found it helpful. If you have questions, concerns, you can always email us at info@rise41.com, or you can leave comments. I'll be glad to answer anything I can in the comments. We also offer coaching. You can go to our Linktree links if you're interested in coaching, be it a call or a training session. Just follow the links there. And like I said, hopefully this is, again, the guide itself is free. Follow the links below if you want a PDF copy of all this. And you can always refer to this video very easily. So again, I hope you liked it. I hope you get some value of it. And if I can help one person do what I did and get in shape and lose crazy amounts of weight and keep it up for years on end, I'm going on year 8 now of having lost 80 pounds without Ozempic or any of that. I did it before Ozempic was cool. You can do it too. And hopefully this is one thing that can help you as you go down that road of self-transformation and change. So with that, thank you very much for listening. And Rise 41 signing off. Have a great day.